I woke up last week asking myself, what did I even learn this week? Hey guys, welcome back to Nate's Learning Nuggets. This is where we take a look each week at what I learned this past week and how we can apply it from there on out. So, here we go on Nate's Learning Nuggets. So this week we're looking at troubleshooting, specifically in terms of cabling types of issues. This past Sunday I had a light that didn't work properly, and then I had another light that wasn't responding properly, and a third light that wasn't responding properly at different points. And it happens sporadically and randomly. Very difficult things to pinpoint at times. So there's a couple of different ways you can approach something like this. You think through, okay, is the issue on the control end? Is it on the actual fixture end of what I'm trying to control? Or is it something in terms of the cabling method that's in the middle of all of that? So in the lighting world, we use what's called DMX. Digital multiplex is what that stands for, and it's a control protocol for controlling all of the channel parameters of each fixture through a control medium like a console or a fader system of some type that basically turns each channel on and off at different percentage amounts. So I had to figure out, okay, where is this issue at? How do I start approaching that? So there's a couple of options on how to approach troubleshooting. Either way you do it, you want to make sure that you've thought out a good method and are planning out a way so that you're not missing those silly details in the middle of everything. So you can start at one point in your signal chain, say you start at your control end, and work your way down each particular cable along the way to know that each step is good. What I typically do though is I'll go ahead and start at the end of the product that's not working. So I have a light that's not working properly. Okay, is it set properly on the fixture itself? Yes. Okay. Is it going, are there other configurations that I need to make sure aren't being missed? Yes. Is it in the same channel control mode as the controller is? Yes. Okay. So unless there is something happening with a computer chip on board the fixture, odds are the fixture itself is not the issue. So then I go from there. Okay, what about the cabling going into that fixture? So step one, swap out that cable. If that doesn't fix it, go to the next one, and go to the next one, and the next one from there, down the line until you know you're at a point where that's good. So in my scenario, I actually went about it a little bit differently this past week because of the time factor. So when you're troubleshooting, time is of the essence because you're trying to get things working and functioning and fixed well. So what I did, I knew I had cabling in my along the line that wasn't in use. So I had one main cable that was going through feeding everything. Well, a combination of cables technically. So the next step that I did, instead of just moving each particular cable at a time, I bypassed everything first. Every single cable in the chain, bypassed that out completely and just plugged directly in from the controller to the light without doing anything else in the chain. And then I just pulled out the rest of those lines and put them back in item by item because I also wanted to tie this into another project I was doing. So I was trying to be more efficient with multiple projects at once, not just troubleshooting. So what I did was I just pulled out the entire line and rebuilt it all from the ground up. In my case, that actually turned out to be a lot faster than troubleshooting each cable at a time, even though each cable at a time would be the correct way to do it. The fastest way for me was basically going back to zero and rebuilding from there. I had a game plan. I knew how I was going to go about it. I had my signal path was known, how the cables were laid out was known, so that was something I was able to accomplish very quickly. And as a result, in just a couple hours, I was done with everything, and I knew I had a solid system. Part of the reason I did that wasn't so much for the sake of just troubleshooting and fixing the issue, but it was also so that I'd be able to rule out any other issues in the future. So by doing this, I also made sure that all my cabling lines were properly terminated and all of the cabling was the right type of cabling. Why is this important? Well, different products have different purposes and needs. And in the lighting world, for those of you that may not know this, your control cable needs to operate at a proper impedance level of either 110 ohms or 120 ohms. And in order to accomplish that, you need to have proper shielding on your cabling. There might be a cable in the chain that's not properly shielded, and that could very well be causing those problems. So part of what I did in my process by rebuilding it all was guarantee that all of that was in place properly to limit my chances of something like this from happening to some other fixture or something else in place. So that was my new take on how I went about troubleshooting this past time. Different than the traditional step-by-step approach, which is still probably the best way to do it, but I was able to accomplish two goals in one, and it's a win-win-win, which is a great thing. So there you go on this week, Nate's Learning Nuggets. Let's go ahead and hit the subscribe button, share this, and I will see you all next time. Have fun, guys.